A girl walks into a bar. No, a human girl walks into a shifter bar. The bar was empty, not yet open to customers. It looked normal. Windowless walls painted black, rows of glass bottles, the smell of beer and stale air. But it wasn't normal, standing on the edge of Shiftertown as it did. "You the lawyer?" The man washing glasses asked. He was human, not shifter. No strange slitted pupils, no collar to control his aggression, no air of menace. Well, relatively no air of menace. This was a crappy part of town, and menace was its stock in trade. Kim told herself she had nothing to be afraid of. They're tamed. Collared, they can't hurt you. When she nodded, the man gestured with his cloth to a door at the end of the bar. "Knock him dead, sweetheart." "I'll try to keep him alive." Kim pivoted and stalked away on 4-inch heels, feeling his gaze on her back all the way. She knocked on the door marked private, and a man on the other side growled, "Come." "I just need to talk to him. Then I'm done, on my way home." A trickle of moisture rolled between Kim's shoulder blades as she made herself open the door and walk inside. A man leaned back in a chair behind a messy desk, a sheaf of papers in his hands. His booted feet were propped on the desk, his long legs a feast of blue jeans over muscle. He was a shifter, all right. Thin black and silver collar against his throat. Hard, honed body. Midnight black hair, definite air of menace. When Kim entered, he stood, setting the papers aside. Damn. He rose to a height of well over 6 feet and gazed at Kim with eyes blue like the morning sky. His body wasn't only honed, it was hot. Big chest, wide shoulders, tight abs, firm biceps against a form-fitting black t-shirt. "Kim Fraser." "That's me." With old-fashioned courtesy, he placed a chair in front of the desk and motioned her to it. Kim felt the heat of his hand near the small of her back as she seated herself. Smelled the scent of soap and male musk. "You're Mr. Morrissey?" The shifter sat back down, returned his motorcycle boots to the top of the desk, and laced his hands behind his head. "Call me Liam." The lilt in his voice was unmistakable. Kim put that with his black hair, impossibly blue eyes, and exotic name. "You're Irish." He smiled a smile that could melt a woman at 10 paces. "And who else would be running a pub?" "But you don't own it." Kim could have bitten out her tongue as soon as she said it. Of course he didn't own it, he was a shifter. His voice went frosty, the crinkles at the corners of his eyes smoothing out. "I'm afraid I can't help you much on the Brian Smith case. I don't know Brian well, and I don't know anything about what happened the night his girlfriend was murdered. It's a long time ago now." Disappointment bit her. But Kim had learned not to let discouragement stop her when she needed to get a job done. "Brian called you the go-to guy. As in, when shifters are in trouble, Liam Morrissey helps them out." Liam shrugged, muscles moving the bar's logo on his t-shirt. "True. But Brian never came to me. He got into his troubles all by himself." "I know that. I'm not trying to get him out of trouble." Liam's eyes narrowed, pupils flicking to slits as he retreated to the predator within him. Shifters like to do that when assessing a situation, Brian had told her. Guess who was the prey? Brian had done the predator-prey thing with Kim at first. He'd stopped when he began to trust her. But Kim didn't think she'd ever get used to it. Brian was her first shifter client. The first shifter, in fact, she'd ever seen outside a television news story. 20 years shifters had been acknowledged to exist, but Kim had never met one. It was well known that they lived in their enclave on the east side of Austin, near the old airport, but she'd never gone over to check them out. Some human women did, strolling the streets just outside Shiftertown, hoping for glimpses and more of the shifter men who were reputed to be strong, gorgeous, and well-endowed. Kim had once heard 2 women in a restaurant murmuring about their encounter with a shifter male the night before. The phrase, "Oh my God," had been used repeatedly. Kim was as curious about them as anyone else, but she'd never summoned the courage to go near Shiftertown herself. Then suddenly she had been assigned the case of the shifter accused of murdering his human girlfriend 10 months ago.